Part 52. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 511. Lu Zhang sat on the chair and didn't get up for a long time. The brigade commander, and others are all here, so it would be inappropriate for you not to go, Han Ping said helplessly. He has been with Lu Zhang for a year, and of course he knows the reason why Lu Zhang frowns. But wouldn't it be nice to watch the rehearsal in advance? Han Ping couldn't hold back the excitement in his heart. When he thought of the female soldiers in the art troupe, his eyebrows widened and his eyes smiled, and his morale was boosted. What's inappropriate? Isn't it just to listen to music and watch dancing? As soon as he heard that the senior generals of the army were present, Lu Zhang knew Ye Zhenjun's intention of calling him, so he picked up the army man's hand that was placed on the chair. He dressed neatly in coats and military caps one by one and walked towards the auditorium. Along the way, he saw comrades with lower positions than him saluting, and he returned the salute one by one, never pretending to be noble. Commander Bai of the cultural troop stood at the door of the auditorium to greet the lieutenant general. When he saw Lu Zhang, he immediately saluted, "Commander Lu." Lu Zhang returned the salute, "Captain Bai." Although Captain Bai has never been on the battlefield, his military rank is not low. Look at the epaulets, he is higher than Lu Zhang. The commander and army commander are all here. Please invite Brigadier Lu inside. Please come inside. Once everyone is here, we will start the performance. Please express your opinions after watching it, so that we can continue to improve, Commander Bai said with a genuine smile. She is about 30 years old, with long eyebrows and handsome eyes, red lips and white teeth. She looks handsome in military uniform. Lu Zhang walked into the auditorium without squinting, and sure enough he saw most of the military generals sitting under the stage, talking loudly. Ye Zhenjun saw him and stretched out his hand to take a look. "Lu Zhang, here." Many of them were officers. Lu Zhang saluted all the way, and when he arrived in front of him, he chose a seat at the back and sat down. Next to him was Zhao Yang. When he sat down, he asked, "When will my brothers and sisters arrive? So I can pick them up in advance." The military area has always been located in the suburbs to facilitate training, and it is quite far away from the train station. Lu Zhang replied, "I guess I should arrive at the station tomorrow afternoon. I'm afraid of being late. It's common for the train to be late. But it doesn't matter. I'll make a report early tomorrow morning and drive to the train station to wait." "That's necessary," Zhao Yang said. "It's not easy for my brothers and sisters to come. Only by going in person can you show your true feelings." Lu Zhang smiled slightly, filled with joy that he was about to see his wife and children. The commander seemed to have heard their conversation and turned around and asked, "Xiao Lu's family members are coming? When?" "I approved it," Comrade Commander Ye Zhenjun said. "Lu Zhang has a heavy responsibility. This year and next year, he will not be asked to go home to visit relatives. This long journey is not enough to delay things. The time spent on the road is more than he was reunited with his family for a long time, so I simply allowed his wife and children to visit him. Anyway, their family is willing to spend the travel expenses. Commander, I tell you, I have to approve this matter. You don't know that kid Lu Zhang. Who did you call daddy first? Who is shouting?" "Xiao Lu is in the army, it must not be him," the commander said. "Of course it's not him, the person he's calling is Zhao Anbang, the same Zhao Anbang who took a grenade with his bare hands and blew off one of his arms." Ye Zhenjun couldn't help but smile. "I received a letter from home a few months ago, which made Xiao Lu very angry." The commander heard this, laughed loudly, waved his hand and said, it's okay, why are you angry? Isn't it just that I haven't seen him since I was a child, so I don't know him? I remember that I had been fighting for more than 10 years and finally found time to go home. My son, who has never seen me since he was born, yelled at me, "Where are you, Little thief? Give my grandpa a stick, this is what my son did. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 512. As the commander spoke, others began to talk about how they had not been home all year round, and that they had become estranged from their children after returning home. We soldiers have to get used to living in two places with our families. Yes, we soldiers don't care about the country, how can we have a small family behind us? Just get used to it. I'm just sorry for my wife and children. I was fighting outside and haven't been home for 8 years. My daughter-in-law took care of all my affairs alone. My children didn't even know who I was when they saw me. They asked his mother about this uncle. Who? You were only 8 years old. The commander had not been home for more than 10 years. The commander smiled and waved his hand. Isn't this the case during the anti-Japanese war? What's there to say? Stop talking, the performance is about to start on the stage. Let's watch the performance, listen to the music, watch the dance, and relax. Since it is a rehearsal, it is not a formal performance, but it is almost the same as a formal performance. On the stage of the auditorium, artistic female soldiers either sang loudly, danced gracefully, or appeared on the stage in a glamorous manner. Whether they were wearing Peking opera costumes with rich colors, or wearing military green uniforms without makeup, all of them were slim and had smiles as bright as flowers. Even though we are in the cold winter, we feel the splendor of spring. Others watched attentively and clapped from time to time to show their appreciation, but Lu Jiang's eyes were blank. His mind was filled with the scene of the wedding, his wife's every smile and every move. How beautiful his wife is, no matter all the people on the stage put together, they can't compare to one of his wife's fingers. What is peerless elegance? What is the allure of the country and the city? His wife is. She has the most exquisite eyebrows, the most beautiful eyes, the prettiest nose, the most perfect lips in the world, her skin is as smooth as snow, and her skin is as smooth as a baby's. She is like a lake of autumn water when she is sweating under him, almost covering him up. Drowning. Tomorrow he will see his wife and that annoying little fat man. Lu Jiang frowned, his joy at seeing his wife was almost dashed by what the little fat man did, but who said he was a father? Just forgive the little fat guy generously. After singing a song on the stage, Lu Jiang was awakened by the applause from the audience. He clapped his hands accordingly. In fact, he had no idea what was being sung on the stage. In any case, no one else could tell that his thoughts had already drifted to his wife and children. You can look down from the stage, on the stage and under the stage, and have a panoramic view of everything under the stage. When they got backstage, the female dancers calmed down their excited heartbeats and chatted among themselves. Wow! The generals in the audience are so awesome, they are all as powerful as dragons and tigers. How did I dance just now? How was it? Did I make any mistakes? I really admire Bai Shui. Standing on the stage, in the center of everyone's attention, she still sang there calmly and calmly. She sang more passionately than usual. When I danced, I could hear the passion. Speaking of Bai Shui, the female soldiers who were discussing secretly looked at her who was taking off her makeup and changing clothes. Bai Shui, the most beautiful flower in their art troupe. Beauty is not enough to describe her appearance. It should be said that she is the most beautiful woman in the country. When she was in the capital, many children of high-ranking cadres pursued her and pushed her to the position of the most beautiful woman. Everyone in the art troupe was convinced, and everyone felt ashamed in front of Bai Shui. Who said that her background was not bad? Her grandfather was a veteran of the anti-Japanese war, and her father and brother were both officials in the capital. She had profound artistic skills. People like them who had gone through many selections to enter the art troupe could not be compared with her. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 513. As soon as Bai Shui was mentioned, everyone ran out of topics to talk about, so they quickly shifted to discussing the military ranks and positions of the generals in the audience. As a literary and artistic soldier, I pay special attention to this point. Bai Shui also pulled her good friend Chen Chen from the art troupe and asked, "Did I perform well just now? Did I make any mistakes? Also, my makeup before was not ugly, right?" Chen Chen smiled and said, "You performed very well and made no mistakes. No matter how you make up, you are still the most beautiful flower." "Does that mean I didn't put on my makeup just now?" Bai Shui was anxious. "Who said that? You are so beautifully made up. You are the most conspicuous person on the stage. I guarantee that anyone in the audience can see you at first sight," Chen Chen said without hesitation, and then touched Bai Shui Chawitan with envy. "Breakable skin, no wonder your name is Bai Shui. Look at your skin, it's as white as snow and as smooth as a peeled egg. God is really unfair. He gave you an excellent mind and profound artistic skills. You are both talented in singing and dancing, and you have such a beauty that will captivate the entire country." "You mean, I just acted perfectly?" Seeing Chen Chen nod, Bai Shui felt relieved and couldn't help but smile. This smile suddenly made everyone around her hold their breath, for fear that the breath they exhaled would be too loud and blow her away. Chen Chen felt strange. "Bai Shui, why do you keep asking this question?" While Bai Shui was putting on makeup in the mirror and preparing for the next show, she said, "Didn't you notice the people sitting under the stage? Those are all important figures in the military region." "So what? We often perform in the capital military region. What kind of scenes and characters have we never seen?" Chen Chen disagreed. "No matter how high the military region here is, can it be higher than the generals of the Southwest military region? Can it be higher than the capital military region? General. Come on, I'm sure you didn't ask me the reason just now." Bai Shui's cheeks turned red, brighter than rouge. When Chen Chen saw this, he suddenly realized, "I know, it's our Miss Bai Shui who is moved by love. Tell me, who is it? Who has such great charm that makes our Miss Bai Shui's heart flutter?" Bai Shui said with a straight face, "What nonsense are you talking about? I just want to present the best side to the border guards." "I don't believe it," Chen Chen said. "When you were in the capital military region, you were as handsome as a peach and a plum, but also as cold as ice. Now that you say this, who would believe it?" "I don't believe it either, and you don't believe it either, right?" As she said this, she asked a few artistic female soldiers who were sitting with them doing their makeup. The art troupe is also divided into factions and high and low levels. The backup dancers are all of relatively low status, and it is difficult to get into the upper echelon. They can sit in the same place as the lead singer Bai Shui. Either the lead singer or the lead dancer, they are both outstanding female soldiers in the art troupe, and they are also fighting openly and secretly with each other. However, Bai Shui is more valued by the superiors, and there are high-ranking disciples pursuing her, so everyone follows her lead. Only he knows whether he is really following her lead or whether he is following her lead. I noticed that there is a very handsome school officer in the audience, Ms. Zili, who often leads the dance, said, holding her face in her hands. "Compared with the rough men around me, he is really good-looking and conspicuous, with sharp eyebrows and starry eyes. There are dimples on her cheeks when she smiles, and she has a strong temperament, but I don't know if she is married." Chen Chen remembered, "She looks about 30, right? I noticed it when I passed by the training ground yesterday." Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 514. Everyone has a love for beauty, both men and women. Just like men discuss beauties, women gather together to discuss whose children are the most handsome and whose children are the most capable. The female soldiers who were indifferent before joined the conversation one after another. Many people have two blushes on their cheeks, but he doesn't. Do you think it's that person? Shoulder badges, school grade. Yes, yes, I have seen it, I have also seen it. I know who you are talking about. I have noticed it a long time ago. He is tough and elegant at the same time. He is majestic when giving orders. He sits in the audience and watches the performance. She's appearance and behavior are all perfect, and he looks like a man with both civil and military skills. He has a lot of ink in his belly, much better than Guo Huai. How can Guo Huai's looks compare to his? No one else is taller, no more handsome, and his temperament is quite different. That is, besides having a good background, there is nothing else about Guo Huai that compares to the handsome officer below the stage. While they were whispering to each other, Chen Chen saw Bai Shui's cheeks getting redder and redder, and suddenly understood in his heart. He was about to tease her, but he was afraid that it would be bad for others to hear the news, so he changed the topic abruptly. I don't know. If you go back and ask the soldiers in the army, you will be able to find out who he is. Handsome and tough men like him are rare in the army. Yang Fenying, who had not joined them in chatting, sneered, I said you all should just calm down and don't think about where you are now. You are here to condolences the border guards, not to observe the appearance of the military general. Is he handsome? What's wrong with you guys? At such an age, with such a military rank, and with such looks, unless he is evil, he must have a wife and children at home. No matter how nice he is, what are you talking about? A woman's husband, the father of other children, can you replace her if you find out clearly? Even if you have this plan, people may not buy it. Don't think that all men in the world are the same and can't move when they see a beauty. Move your feet. Let me tell you, lifestyle is very important. After saying something, everyone immediately shut up and looked at Bai Shui in unison. Yang Fenying and Bai Shui have always been at odds. Baixiu is an accomplished singer and dancer, while Yang Fenying has studied Peking opera since she was a child and is a descendant of the Mei school. The two have equal status in the art troupe, but Yang Fenying is far less good-looking than Bai Shui, so the attention she receives is naturally different. Bai Shui's face turned green and white, and he said in a cold voice, it's none of your business if we talk about our lives. Yang Fenying, don't think that just because you are a descendant of the Mei sect, you can do whatever you want. Yang Fenying said unceremoniously, you can do whatever you want, I will give it to you. Bai Shui, don't rely on your beauty to think that all men in the world should fall under your pomegranate skirt. The world is very big, and there are people who are more beautiful than you. Fanji, don't think that just because a few senior cadres promoted you to the most beautiful position in the art troupe, you are really the most beautiful person in the world. In this world, beauty is not a blessing, but a curse. You'd better listen to me. Go in, or you will regret it. The next show was Yang Fenying's turn. After she finished speaking, she straightened out her clothes, walked to the entrance of the stage, and with a clear voice, stepped onto the stage and won countless applause. The rehearsal was a success, but Chen Chen and other female soldiers went outside the training ground during their break the next day and did not see the handsome officer. After asking around, I found out that he had gone to the station to pick up his wife and children. What does PK recommendation mean? But I still ask for votes and subscriptions. This is the 11th chapter. If possible, I will update it a little bit tonight to make the list. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 515. When the train was approaching its destination, Feng Qingxiu carefully took care of herself and her son's appearance. Then she heard conductor Wang say that there were very few passengers, which meant that there were really very few people coming here, so she got off the train. Not crowded at all. With the help of conductor Wang, Feng Qingxiu got off the train carrying a quilt bag and Zibao tied to her chest. Conductor Wang asked local railway workers to help carry Feng Qingxiu's luggage and send the mother and son out of the station. All the way out of the station, Feng Qingxiu met a handful of passengers. Therefore, when she saw Lu Zhang stretching his neck to look at the station entrance, she immediately waved her hand, "Ah Zhang, Ah Zhang." Lu Zhang was staring at the station entrance with all his concentration. As soon as his wife's figure appeared, even though half of her face was covered with a scarf, he still recognized her at a glance. He hurried forward, took off the bedding bag from her back and handed it to Sang, who was driving. Hong, while thanking the railway workers who helped carry the luggage, untied the cloth straps that tied Zibao and held him in his arms. Zibao is wilted, like an eggplant beaten by frost. It is not a purple eggplant, but a white and fat eggplant. A plump white eggplant. He opened his eyelids and took a look at Lu Zhang. He was stunned at first, and then looked at it intently. Suddenly he let out a loud cry and shouted, "Dad! Dad! Mom, Mom, Dad! Dad!" As he spoke, he turned his head and asked Feng Qingxiu for credit. "Yes, it's Dad." Zibao recognized his dad, right? Zibao is so good, Zibao is so great, Zibao is so smart. Maybe it was because he drank Rhodiola rosea oral liquid in advance, and he has been adapting since the train entered the plateau area. It was good, but Zibao was young, a little wilted, and not as skinny as before. Fortunately, no other adverse symptoms occurred. Along the way, Feng Qingxiu was most worried about her son's physical condition after arriving at the destination. On the other hand, after hearing Zibao's name, Lu Zhang laughed heartily and raised him up. "My good son, call him daddy again. He is in his 30s, with a bright face, like a young boy." "Dad," Zibao yelled loudly, but soon wilted and huddled in his arms, looking listless. "Qingxiu, look what's wrong with Zibao. Are you not adapting to the environment here?" Lu Jiang's smile suddenly faded and he was very worried. He almost hurriedly held his son up to Feng Qingxiu. "Hurry up. Have a look." Feng Qingxiu carefully examined her son and said softly, "It's okay. It's a plateau area after all." Zibao just didn't get used to it all of a sudden. But Zibao's condition is good. He will recover after 2 days of rest and getting used to it. Don't worry, Ajiang, Zibao's body and bones are in good condition. He rarely gets sick since he was born. He is born strong and becomes much stronger than ordinary people. Sang Hong reminded appropriately, "Yes, Brigade Commander, quickly take my sister-in-law and the baby to the car. Let's go back to the army and let the sister-in-law and the baby rest." With that said, he saluted Feng Qingxiu. When Feng Qingxiu responded politely, Sang Hong felt very comfortable and said with a smile, "Sister-in-law, you are here. If you don't come, we soldiers will be drilled by the brigade commander. You're so exhausted. You don't know. Ever since you said you were coming to visit your relatives, the brigade commander has been so excited that he has no place to vent his energy and has to come to train us. Now, my sister-in-law and the baby have arrived safely. The brigade commander should be able to do it. Spare us, right? No, the brigade commander should stay with his sister-in-law and the baby more." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 516. Lu Zhang hugged his son and scolded him with a smile, "You talkative. Besides, let's go back and run laps, 10 laps. But before running laps, load your luggage into the car. A little wink, kid. I'm sure a little wink won't do you any harm. I've only been here for a year, but I'm just not used to the brigade commander's smile. Sang Hong scratched the top of his head. Lu Jiang is usually very strict. Who wouldn't call him the iron-faced Yama? After hearing this, Feng Qingxiu pursed her lips and smiled, watching Sang Hong load the luggage bags into the car one by one, then opened the door and asked the couple to get in the car. She finally got in the car and started the car. The road from the train station to the troop garrison was difficult and very far, and it took 3 or 4 hours to drive. When the car was parked for inspection, the soldier in charge couldn't help but look at Zibao one after another. When the car drove in, a family of 3 just got out of the car and saw many pairs of eyes and their owners. They were all wearing old military uniforms, but their rank was clear at a glance. The epaulets are different, and the fabrics of the military uniforms are also different. From ordinary soldiers to corps commanders and division commanders, there were quite a few of them, as if they had been waiting here for a long time. As soon as they saw them coming out, they all surrounded them, targeting the Zibao in Lu Jiang's arms. Feng Qingxiu first saw Ye Zhenjun and Zhao Yang, and said hello with a busy smile, "Commander Ye, Commander Zhao, long time no see. Long time no see, long time no see. Hey, the baby and I have never seen each other once. We have to see each other this time." Ye Zhenjun's attention was all on Zibao in Lu Jiang's arms. He couldn't help but touch his palm at the first sight. He praised, "What a good boy, he looks so good. This white and fat boy is so rare. Come on, let me hug him." Zibao lay lazily in Lu Jiang's arms, blinking his big eyes, looking at this and that. A trace of doubt flashed in his eyes, as if he didn't understand why there were so many similar people in front of him. He buried his head in Lu Jiang's arms, but couldn't suppress his curiosity. He turned to look at the crowd. "Dad. Hey, good son, call me Uncle Ye." In private, Lu Jiang would occasionally call Ye Zhenjun his brother. He would hold his son upright in his arms, but the little boy would lie on his shoulders and look strangely around behind his father. Ye Zhenjun sent an old face to him. Zibao immediately stretched out his chubby hands to cover his eyes, and then secretly looked at Ye Zhenjun from between his fingers. Ye Zhenjun was much older than Lu Jiang. He was in his teens. He had been marching and fighting for so many years, and he looked older than Lu Jiang's father. So he heard Zibao's cry and said loudly, "Grandpa." Ye Zhenjun's heart suddenly felt cold. "Grandpa? Call me," he pointed to his nose amidst the roar of laughter. Zibao blinked his big eyes and called Grandpa again. Feng Qingxiu suppressed her laughter and said hurriedly, "This is the first time he calls me Grandpa. He has never called me Dad at home. Therefore, Commander Ye, you should feel honored." "Smelly boy," Ye Zhenjun touched Zibao's head, and finally touched his mink hat. His hand felt warm and soft. "It's good that you call me Grandpa. I don't mind it. Come on, tell your dad to call me Uncle. Commander, tell me to take a look, tell us to take a look at Brigadier Lu's baby." The lower-ranking soldiers were particularly enthusiastic. They waited here after training, just to see the true faces of Feng Qingxiu and Zibao in Lushan. There have never been such young children in the army. Ye Zhenjun turned sideways, allowing the anxiously waiting soldiers to see Zibao's appearance clearly. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 517. Wow! Shrunk Brigadier. Look, he smiled at me. He's so cute. Why does he look so happy? She looks like the brigade commander. Her eyebrows and eyes are exactly the same. The brigade commander is black and thin, while the baby is white and fat. To be able to eat so well these days, my sister-in-law must have put a lot of thought into it. Sister-in-law, thanks for your hard work. Following the words sister-in-law, thank you for your hard work, sister-in-law, many soldiers who were looking at Zibao turned around, saluted Feng Qingxiu, and said in unison, "Sister-in-law, thank you for your hard work." Needless to say, they thought of their families. Those without wives and children thought of their parents, and those with wives and children thought of their wives and children. Soldiers work hard at the front, and their wives work hard at the back, being filial to their elders and taking care of their children. The burden of the whole family falls on one person. Their manners are so standard and their voices are so sincere. Feng Qingxiu's nose felt sour. She politely pulled off her scarf, smiled but said seriously, "I married a soldier. From the first day, I knew that these are what I should do, and the elderly and children are my responsibilities. Your responsibilities are in the country, and my responsibilities are at home. With you soldiers stationed at the border and serving the country, we are not afraid of wind and rain in the rear. The hardships in life are actually sweetness. 1/3 of the hard work is 7/10 of the sweetness. No regrets." The commander clapped his hands and said, "Well said." He went out to check on the soldiers' training. Unexpectedly, it was quite lively here, so he came over to take a look. Hearing the commander's voice, the soldiers immediately made way for a passage. The commander walked up to him and looked at Feng Qingxiu with eyes full of approval and a bit of kindness from an elder to a younger generation. "You are Lu Jiang's close comrade in arms." "I remember," Lao Ye said. "Your name is Feng Qingxiu." "Close comrade?" "Yes, many soldiers call their wives their close comrades." Feng Qingxiu bowed to him. "Yes, Commander, I am Feng Qingxiu, Lu Jiang's comrade." "What you said should be reversed. It is because of the selfless contributions of military wives like you to the family that we soldiers on the front line can be carefree." After the commander said this, he continued, "The area where our military region is located, the environment is not good. You and your children are new here. Go and have a rest first. Take a good look at the place where Lu Jiang lives. You guys, let's go. Don't stop your sister-in-law from taking a rest. I think you did it back then." "Which of these soldiers didn't take 2 or 3 days to recover when they arrived?" The commander said that the large group of soldiers immediately dispersed like birds and beasts, and they did not forget to look back at Zibao when they left. The place cleared instantly, leaving only Lu Jiang's family of 3, Ye Zhenjun and Zhao Yang who were not fooled, Han Ping and Sang Hong who helped carry their luggage, and of course, the commander. Come on, let me hug this fat boy." The commander stretched out his hand towards Zibao. Most of them have never witnessed the growth of their children, so when they see Zibao for the first time, they are inevitably itchy. Ye Zhenjun protested, "I haven't hugged you yet, Commander. First come first served, first come first served, do you understand?" What? Lao Ye, what are you talking about? "I am old and my ears are not working well, so I didn't hear it." The commander confidently took Zibao into his arms. "Oh, hey, press, his hands are really heavy, he is indeed a fat boy, he must weigh more than 30 pounds, right?" Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 518. After hearing the commander's words, Feng Qingxiu pursed her lips and smiled, "Absolutely." When the food was distributed after autumn, the good guy weighed the Zibao. It weighed 34 kilograms with clothes on, and everyone present was not envious. Seeing that Zibao was not in good spirits, the commander handed him over to Lu Jiang without holding him for a long time. "The child is tired, Lu Jiang, take your wife and children to rest quickly. You can go to the canteen to get the food yourself and bring it back to the dormitory to eat. Stop hanging out." "Yes, Commander." Ye Zhenjun also knew the reaction when he first arrived in the plateau area, so he didn't insist on holding Zibao. Anyway, there was a long way to go. Yes, you go and have a rest quickly. After you have rest, let's eat together." Lu Jiang finally had the opportunity to take his wife and children back to rest, and Han Ping and Sang Hong took the opportunity to follow him with their luggage. The appearance of Feng Qingxiu and Zibao caused a sensation in the entire military region. We can't blame them. Due to the geographical environment, there are almost no family members coming to visit relatives, let alone a child as young as Zibao. Therefore, the soldiers who had seen Feng Qingxiu and Zibao showed off in the canteen. It's such a pity that you haven't seen it. Brigadier Lu's son is really cute. He looks like the little golden boy in the New Year pictures I saw when I was a child. He is wearing a red cotton jacket and red cotton trousers. He is very cute. It's more than 30 pounds, I heard Han Ping say. Han Ping, this guy is really discerning. We are patronizing my sister-in-law and our children. He went to get his luggage, so he went with us. My sister-in-law is so kind. She is beautiful and gentle. She speaks softly. I was moved by what she said. Sister-in-law is good, Niu Yubao said as he put rice into his mouth. When the brigade commander and sister-in-law got married, I was there. My sister-in-law's cooking was very delicious. I gained a few pounds at the brigade commander's house. Return. Niu Yubao's words immediately aroused countless dissatisfaction. Chief Steak, why haven't I heard you say this? What am I telling you for? You don't talk about people's rights and wrongs behind their backs, do you understand? Niu Yubao finished eating, wiped his mouth, picked up the empty lunchbox and grinned at a group of recruits. I'm leaving, you continue, remember, watch your mouth, you have to know what to say and what not to say, we can't let my sister-in-law down. Everyone present understood the meaning of this sentence. People from the art troupe also ate in the same cafeteria as them, they just sat in different areas. Yang Fengying glanced at Bai Shui and sneered softly. You heard it, Brigadier Lu has a wife and children, he is a married man and the father of his children, and his relationship is very good. If the relationship was not good, his wife would not come all the way to visit relatives with their children. Sometimes, she is really worried about some female soldiers in the art troupe. What kind of brains do they have? He looks pretty good, but he doesn't have enough brains. Chen Chen looked at Bai Shui worriedly, but saw that she was eating the rice in the bowl calmly, without being affected at all. Begs you, she said. Bai Shui raised her head, what did you ask me to do? Let's eat quickly. We have to continue rehearsing after dinner. Tomorrow is the time for us to officially perform on stage. We can't make any mistakes. Chen Chen wanted to ask her how she felt after knowing that Lu Zhang had a wife and children, but he realized that the environment he was in was wrong, so he didn't ask. Captain Bai, who was at the top of the seat, had everything in view. She frowned slightly. After the female soldiers finished eating and went to rehearse, she called Bai Shui to her residence. What's going on? Please tell me the truth. Donate 15,000, please give me your votes. Give me all your monthly recommendation votes, so that I can rank higher. It feels so good to not have any glitches. If you are stuck there, keep biting the pen. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 519. Captain Bai's expression was stern and his voice was stern. Bai Shui did not dare to meet her eyes and hesitantly said, it's nothing. It's really nothing. They are just making fun of them. Booking? What are you making noise about? Captain Bai asked. Bai Shui looked at the ground, lowered her head and said, it's just about the performance tomorrow. Isn't there 2 songs and a dance for me? They were nervous, saying that there were so many soldiers in the audience. What should they do if they don't perform well in front of everyone? They asked me yesterday if I was nervous, and I said I wasn't, but they didn't believe it, and what you saw happen today. Captain Bai said coldly, Bai Shui, you'd better remember your identity, you'd better remember the hard work and expectations of your family that you carry with you, and don't do anything to disappoint me. Two clouds of mist suddenly filled Bai Shui's eyes. She mustered up the courage to look at Captain Bai, but I also want my own life. Captain Bai stared into her eyes and said sternly, what life do you want? What life do you want? Don't forget your family's arrangements for you. If you feel that my arrangements make you dissatisfied, you can, after this condolences performance, I will send you back immediately and leave you to fend for yourself. Don't think that just because you are pretty, you can do whatever you want. If you didn't have such a face, you think you can get in easily. Can a cultural troupe serve as the lead singer and lead dancer, and appear on the stages of major military regions? She patted Bai Shui's face. You know better than anyone what the world is like now. If you hadn't joined the art troupe and attracted several children of revolutionary cotters to pursue you, do you think you could protect yourself? Listen to me, perform well, behave responsibly, and remain innocent. In the future, choose the best among the cotters' children to marry as your wife. From now on, you will enjoy endless glory and wealth, instead of continuing to live a hard-working life just because of this beauty. Bai Shui wanted to say that that was not the life she wanted. She had never thought about marrying a high-ranking cotter in the capital. She just wanted to find a handsome, capable, strong man who could protect her, not those who flattered the female soldiers in the art troupe. The elder brother who whistled, but she didn't dare to say it. She knew that it was the life plan given to her by her family, and she had to move forward step by step. Captain Bai is her aunt, named Bai Magnolia, and her family's arrangements for her were influenced by her. Bai Shui wanted to lower her head, but couldn't because her aunt pinched her cheek. She forced herself to look into her aunt's eyes and whispered, actually, there are also outstanding generals in the army, and they don't necessarily have to marry into high-ranking families. Captain Bai immediately let go of his hand. Why, are you telling the truth now? Are you dissatisfied with your family's arrangements? Who did you fall in love with at first sight? Who do you think you can marry? In the cafeteria here, Yang Fengying sneered at you after hearing the soldiers' discussion. They were discussing Brigadier Lu. Brigadier Lu? Thinking back to the Lu Zhang he saw, he was tall, straight, handsome, and cold and serious at the same time. At a glance, he knew that he was not someone to be trifled with, especially the evil aura that he possessed, which could only be acquired after many battles. Seeing Bai Shui's reddish cheeks and shy eyes, Captain Bai understood clearly and said angrily, Bai Shui, I'm warning you, be smart, don't think that just because you like others, others can like you. Brigadier Lu has a wife and a son, and he arrived at the army today. What do you want to do? Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 520. Bai Shui disagreed and whispered, Auntie, I didn't do anything. You can't hide your thoughts from me. Are you not convinced? You think you are so beautiful that Brigadier Lu will definitely fall in love with you, right? Dreaming. Don't say that Brigadier Lu's wife is beautiful and gentle. Even if you look ordinary, someone like Brigadier Lu will not choose you to replace his wife. Men are different from each other. I can see it at a glance. Bai Shui, don't let it happen because you have seen too much. Men think that all men in the world are virtuous. Commander Bai said, reaching out and patting her face again, Bai Shui, be obedient and everything will be easy to talk about. If you let me know that you are even half a step closer to Brigadier Lu, the consequences are needless to say. I believe it is. Those high-ranking cotters who admire you will definitely not give you good luck if they find out that you are interested in another man. If it brings disaster to Brigadier Lu because of you, I also believe in Brigadier Lu. Even if your wife fights to the death, she will beat you to death. Don't underestimate a woman's ability, especially when her husband has been in the army for many years and is taking care of the elderly and children alone. Her character is not ordinary. Bai Shui's face suddenly turned white as snow, without any blood. And Captain Bai said, "You have been in the art troupe for several years, and you have also participated in dances in the compound. You should know how possessive men are. No one would choose a woman who is busy and has a stain on her life and reputation. If this woman is a beauty, they will have more reason to punish her. Lifestyle is very important, Bai Shui, don't turn a deaf ear to what I say." Bai Shui did not dare to say a word, and her delicate body trembled slightly, as if caused by the cold wind blowing from the window, as if caused by the threat in Captain Bai's words, like a crumbling white orchid. Seeing this, Captain Bai sighed slightly and softened his tone. "Bai Shui, I can never have a normal marriage in this life. You know it. You know everything about me. You are my niece, so I don't want you to follow my old path. As long as I can protect you next, perform well, seize the opportunity, and marry a son of a high-ranking official as your first wife. This will not only protect your troubled beauty from being coveted by others, but also bring you glory and wealth, and free you from other arrangements by your father and brother. Be good, don't think about destroying other people's families. How many people will finally get what they want? Most of them will have to taste the bitter consequences of their own actions, just like me. No one is human, no ghost. Once, when I was young and frivolous, I thought that my beauty was always good for me, and that love was everything. When the military general gave me a slight hint, I rushed to commit myself to him, thinking that I could successfully replace my original wife like my predecessors. My wife, I later learned that it was not that easy. This is the point of no return. Once you step on it, you can't look back. Even if you already know that you are wrong and regret it, it is of no use. You can't look back." She was in a state of fear all the time, fearing that others would punish her to death because of her improper behavior. Later, under the deliberate arrangement of the other party, she married an honest guard who was also his guard. Even so, she had to be there whenever he was told and couldn't slack off. His power is so overwhelming that even though there are a few people in the army who know it well, they dare not reveal anything about it.